Matthew's message. With loving greetings from all souls at the station, this is Matthew. Let us begin by addressing your concerns as to how the following situations are affecting the progress of the Light, Yellow Vest movement in France, Brexit complexities, political upheaval in Venezuela, effects of China's economic slowdown on the global economy, effects of the United States government shutdown, cyberspace warfare, crisis in Yemen, continuing terrorism around the world, climate change denial, Russia's intentions, nuclear programs in Iran and North Korea. Those situations and all others in one degree of flux or another are the resistance to change clashing with the insistence upon it, and in no way is this deterring the Light's progress. A process as monumental as world transformation doesn't happen in a straight line. It zigzags in accordance with billions of free will choices made daily. The Illuminati, now commonly called Deep State, are resisting accepting that their efforts to retain their influence in your world are utterly futile. And, without knowing that the Light's unparalleled power is exposing and banishing darkness, the peoples are responding to Light's high vibrations by insisting upon justness and equality. What you are seeing is a civilization bringing to an end its ages-long trauma, so healing can come. Beloved sisters and brothers, we know your desire for all of Earth's peoples to live in a peaceful, harmonious, benevolent world. You went there to help them awaken consciously and spiritually so they can manifest it. And, while we know this is happening with swiftness unique in this universe, and we see that beautiful wondrous world flourishing in the continuum, we understand your impatience to see this in linear time. When you volunteered to go to Earth, you knew that your journey would entail experiencing the emotions and hardships inherent in a third-density civilization. You also knew that by divine design, all of that would be forgotten when you incarnated and you wouldn't remember why you are where you are. Therefore, you would follow your intuition, tap into your spiritual strength and persevere with determination and ingenuity to surmount the many obstacles you would encounter, and you have been doing this nobly. Along with honoring your steadfastness in the Light and your invaluable service to the peoples of Earth, we want to assure you that evidence of what you have helped them accomplish is on the near horizon. Please, ask Matthew how to deal with the need of ego in the task of learning to serve in light and love. First we say, ego gets a bad rap when it is limited to denoting egotism or pomposity, and it is more than your dictionary definition, the part of the psyche of which a person is consciously aware. Ego can be considered a work in progress because it changes as you add to your conscious awareness through academic and religious teachings, observations, ideas, expanded circle of acquaintances, conformance with, or rebellion against parental, peer and societal expectations, pursuit of interests, the honing of skills and talents, acquisition of street smarts, development of values and standards of conduct, success or failure in personal relationships and professional goals. In short, ego is the composite of everything you have experienced from infancy to date. So, it is not an issue of the need of ego in learning how to serve in light and love or in any other capacity. Ego simply is. It is your concept of who you are, an intrinsic part of you that functions 24/7 as naturally as breathing. Ego goes to its composite of all the human traits and actions it has experienced or observed, its storage facility of supplies, so to say, and automatically chooses what it wants as you interact with others and react to circumstances. Everything in the supply line available to ego emits vibrations. The high end of the line includes godly ways, kindness, empathy, compassion, humility, gentleness, thoughtfulness, helpfulness, gratitude, generosity, joy, honesty, forgiveness, trustworthiness, loyalty, dependability, hopefulness, and perseverance in times of adversity. The low end includes apathy, immorality and amorality, cruelty, deceptiveness, betrayal, bigotry, arrogance, fear, anger, stinginess, jealousy, envy, pessimism, resentment, guilt, egotism, hubris and vengefulness. That duality in third-density humankind comes from the belief that each person is separate from all others and from God. Now then, Choosing traits and actions with high vibrations enables clarity in perceiving self and others and acting with sound judgment, whereas choices in low vibratory ranges produce diluted opinions of self, flawed assessment of others, and rash rather than reasoned behavior. And what you think of as character, nature or personality are what the ego most frequently chooses from its spectrum of possible selections. In this, conscience, the province of the soul that nudges provisions chosen in the soul contract, is ego's companion and ally. But if conscience is consistently ignored, it atrophies and becomes non-functional, thereby leaving ego out on a limb, in a manner of speaking. To give an example of ego in action, let us say that 4 strangers have just been seated in the waiting area of a crowded restaurant. Their reactions are in consonance with what automatically comes to each. One thinks about the delicious dinner ahead, one worries about being late for an evening business appointment, one looks around the room and admires its decor, the 4th shows annoyance about having to wait for a table. Those 4 different perceptions of a shared situation enter the collective consciousness of Earth. As they wait, each person perceives self-image, and forms an impression of the other 3, so 16 more perceptions exist within the group, and those, like all the other thoughts and feelings that come to them, also become part of the collective consciousness. Let us take this a step further. You see things as solid, but nothing is. Everything is energy fluctuating within vastly varying degrees of frequency, and, like vision, everything that your other 4 senses tell you also is what you perceive it to be. What you perceive is what you believe, and that is your reality. Now let us put into that perspective your questioning how various situations are affecting the light. Those you mentioned and all others are reflecting the myriad perceptions of reality within the populace at any given moment. Putting all of those into the context of today's happenings produces 2 primary and opposing perceptions. A world ruled by the few who feel entitled to do what they want is one. The other is a peaceful, harmonious world with justness and abundance for everyone. The continuously increasing strength of the latter perception's energy in the collective consciousness is manifesting that envisioned and desired world. And it doesn't stop there. The energy of that perception flows into universal mass consciousness and on into cosmic consciousness. Everything happening anywhere affects everything everywhere. We digress considerably, so let us bring ego back down to earth and speak about persons who are serving in light and love, or light workers. They are acting upon ego's natural selection from its supply facility, the qualities that emit the highest vibrations. The same is true of people who are living in godly ways, but they haven't heard the term light worker, so don't think of themselves as such. The difference between you who know you are light workers and the many millions who don't know they are is your knowledge. You know you are multidimensional immortal souls inseparably connected with each other and God, and all souls are the pure love light essence of Creator. You know about soul contracts and pre-birth agreements, universal laws and planetary and personal ascension. You know there are countless souls in other civilizations, many of which are highly evolved spiritually, consciously, and technologically, and some are your ancestors. And you know that during this unprecedented era of change throughout this universe, love light, the most powerful force in the cosmos, is vanquishing the vestiges of darkness on earth. Rejoice, dear family, in knowing these truths. I am a former member of the news media and must say I don't believe all of the members of the news media are corrupt. Maybe their bosses and some very high-profile talent are. But most of the journalists I worked with in the 80s and 90s were honest, hard-working people. I'm sure this is still true today. Yes, it is. Most press, radio and TV journalists don't know that the information they report from wire services and other sources is what media's dark controllers want the public to believe. Few journalists know that often information they call fake news is, instead, the truth. For instance, when the pedophile ring came to light in the Washington, D.C. area that is serving members of the U.S. government and visiting dignitaries, this became known as PIZZAGATE. Dark ones quickly labeled it fake news and unwitting reporters echoed that falsehood. A term of long standing that was devised to hide the truth is conspiracy theory, and the public has been programmed to consign to the trash heap whatever media reports as such. Although many still do believe that information to which either term is attached is lies or crazy ideas, others are realizing that issues are thusly labeled as cover-ups, and that is due to the efforts of journalists around the globe whose exhaustive research has exposed the pervasive corruption within their own industry, corporations, medical, entertainment and sports fields, governments and financial institutions. We honor these men and women, whose sole contracts include not only writing talent, perseverance and courage, but the potential of professional discrediting, imprisonment, or assassination because of their dedication to uncovering and publishing the truth. It should not be surprising that a large number of them are souls from other civilizations who volunteered to incarnate on Earth to serve in this capacity. Beloved family, all light beings throughout this universe are supporting your mission on behalf of Earth with the unequaled power of unconditional love. Love and peace. Channeled by Suzanne Ward.